This meeting is being recorded.
Oh,
Okay.
all right. We'll do it. So what can you see me and see the screen, or what do you see? Or you see
Fine.
both
You only see mainly the screen, but you in a little box.
in a little box? All right, thank you. All right, this is just, we're just testing it now. I'm just saying to people, if a lot of people want to write their own cases, and I'm going to show you how you can write your own cases. It's not as hard as what you think. If you stay out of the subordinate laws, you don't want to go into them, because once you do, you're in their territory. You want to get out of their territory and go into your heavenly realm. And this is where you have all your power. You have no power in their subordinate laws. So get out of them. And Jody was saying that you have a right to the protection of your own body, and they can't invade your body with all of their things. There's another video that we did, but we won't mention it in here. Now, if you want to write your case, and they don't want to have people sticking swabs up their asses to check for this so-called disease they reckon you've got up their nose, down their throat, in their ears, in their eyes. They don't want them sticking any devices into the orifices of their body. None. Full stop. And for no reason. You don't put your devices in the orifice of my body unless I have decided that that's something that I want to do. You don't order me, and you don't tell me that I'm going to lose my job because you want to stick an orifice up my ass. All right. So that, where does, and how are we going to use the 1688 Bill of Rights? We're going to go to your cruel and unusual punishments. Okay, that's what I was going to say. This first section here that you'll see, this was all the reasons why they petitioned and had the king removed. So you can use this document to have a king removed. And so you have to list all of the things under God that this king did that was not correct in God's court. And then, so then it goes down here and it gives you, says that the queen is the instrument and Almighty God is the overseer. So the queen is only the instrument, and God will, you're going into God's law. So welcome into God's law. And since obviously God in his person is not here, God has given you an instrument to give your prayer to, all right? And then you go down and you're asking yourself, what are the rights that they've violated? Well, since they want to put things up the orifices of your ass and they want to force you to wear a mask, well, the orifices up your ass, that's a cruel thing to do. And there's no reason for them to do that to you. And the unusual punishment. So you don't have to use those together. You can use only unusual punishment if you want, or you can use that they've been cruel, and it doesn't have to have been a punishment. It can be just somebody was cruel to you. All right. And then you can use the excessive fines if you want, or you can use so you can use, there's 4 things you can use here: excessive mail, or excessive fines, or a cruel thing that was done to you, or an unusual punishment. Well, sticking something up your ass that's an unusual thing to do to you, isn't it? It's kind of sounds great. Now that comes up, yeah. And Jody,
or in any orifice, or in any orifice, them putting anything into your body in any orifice.
Well, your head is the sacred temple, and they're talking about sticking these long sticks into your. I am 60 years old. I'm 60 years old, and never in my entire life, or my father's life, or my grandfather's life, did they see it as a necessary thing to stick something in the orifice of my nose. Your head is your heavenly temple.
That's
and
right.
Especially in Maoridom and Tigan,
very tapu.
head is the most sacred part. And to have somebody put something, and I've never experienced it, and I don't want to experience it.
Yeah.
That's crossing the blood-brain barrier.
It is. Going into your nose, they are actually crossing into but they've said that. I don't want them to. And
Oh.
so here's where it goes to. For I wanted Jody to say about bodily autonomy. Can you say that, Jody, that you said it wasn't on video?
I just say that instead, as an umbrella, can we use it then to protect our bodily autonomy under the 1688 and not bringing, as you said, the subordinate laws like Crimes Act and everything else from down here. But this could include injections, anything that they propose to do, anything. It's all an unusual punishment. If you
Exactly.
this is
It can go under the umbrella of the 1688.
Is it forfeiture of person without conviction?
Yeah,
because they're
that
trying
comes
to
All
under-
of that. All of it.
and we're
doesn't
not sick.
only-
There's nothing wrong
It
with
doesn't
us.
only say particular. It doesn't only say person. It says particular person. This is where
Right.
they're saying that you are an individual, and under God, because God loves every single one of you. He doesn't love any one of you more than the other.
Yeah.
God
he's
loves
right.
every one, and that's why you become a particular person. You're
Yep.
no longer under their collective madness. You're
Yeah.
now saying, I'm here. I exist. I am standing. I am God. Because you are. Because you are. Because who is the
We're made in the
creator?
image of God. Yeah,
God is the creator. And who creates? You do.
we do.
When you have a child in your womb, when a man puts his sperm into your body and your egg meets with his, you have created life. Who is God? God is the creator. Who is the creator of life? You, man and woman, are the creators of life, and it's created. Where did the creation occur? The creation occurred in your womb and in his ball bags. So that when you say, who is God? You are God. I am. Of course, you need a little bit of heavenly help up there to get that whole thing to come together. But so the particular person, you're no longer standing as a collective under the particular. You see, they're saying to you that you have a lot of power as a collective, but what you're also not realizing, and Mahatma Gandhi said, the power of one. You have even more power as one when you stand in the court together with Almighty God, and you say, I am a particular person. I exist. And that's what you're doing. This is just such a beautiful thing that you're doing. You're so important. You all don't know how important that you are. I know how important I am. I already know. But I think that you all need to, everyone should try to do one of these cases to know how important that you as an individual are in the grand scheme of God. He sees each and every one of you. He hears everything that you say, everything. He's with you all the way, every minute, every second. He's there as your particular person. He's not saying, I've got this big crowd of people and I've got to take care of this big crowd of people. He isn't. He's saying, this is for you. This is how important you are. So it says there, the forfeiture of a particular person without a conviction. They're saying, we want to put this thing in the orifice of your brain space, of your head space, and we've got no evidence that you were sick. There's none. They said, we took your temperature and there's no evidence that you have, because they don't need to touch your body to take your temperature. They've got their little
They should see it.
and they can take your temperature, and you've got no temperature, and they still, because I've been to the hospital, you go there and you sit there, they take your temperature, which is non-invasive, they take your blood pressure, which is non-invasive, they take your pulse, which is non-invasive, and they write on their little book that your temperature is fine, your blood pressure is fine, your pulse is fine. They said all those things, and then they turn around and said, but you might be sick and we want to put this thing into the cavity of your body. Well, they had no conviction. There was no conviction that there was
No
anything wrong.
evidence,
It said that you were fine.
Yeah,
And they said, but we still want to put this injection. Well, that is your bodily autonomy being invaded. Now, what do you want to do when you want to make a case? So Jody and Diane want to make a case on their own. All right. So you've got your two things there that you're going to use. And then you go down and you look here at the parliaments. And so this is what you're going to demand, that we demand and we insist that our undoubted rights and liberties. So all of my work is from here.
Yeah.
And then it says there that no declarations. Now they're making announcements. Unfortunately, they're not making declarations, but they're making newspaper announcements. They're writing their crappy subordinate laws. No declarations or judgments or any even doings or any proceedings to the prejudice of the people in any of those said premises. Here's the said premises up here. And it says here, they are not allowed to do it. It says you can't do it. It should not be brought into consequence or example. And then it says here, the only means for obtaining a full redress or a remedy is to go down. You ascend yourself to heaven. And there you'll see the judge when you go to heaven. And then at heaven, here's what it says here. It says you are now in heaven. Lord Spiritual is here. See, here's God right here. Lord Spiritual is going to be there with you. Lord's Temporal, that's the crown and the queen and all of her queen's armies that protect you. They're going to be there with you. And then here's the commons. This is the common law of the people, which is right here. Here's your common law. And the commons are going to be with you. So these three, when you go to heaven, these three entities are going to be with you. And when you go to the criminal court, these people aren't with you. They're not really. It's not in there. But here you're going to see God, and you're going to make your prayer. And you're going to say to him, I do pray. Here it's got do pray. I do pray. Make sure that you make the prayer. I do pray that it may be declared and enacted that all and singular rights and liberties asserted and claimed in this declaration, that we want the declaration, are true, ancient, and our indubitable right. We're going to say it can't be questioned. Now, when you put in all these COVID stuff, all these subordinate laws, all those laws can be questioned. You don't want to allow them. But when you put in your bodily autonomy and your bodily right under a particular person, that can't be questioned because it's yours. Your body belongs to you. Nobody owns your body, not him, not her, not Parliament, not the Maori, not the Queen, not the Pope. Nobody owns your body. They don't. And so that is indubitable because it's unquestionable that that is the fact under God. So you've got your indubitable right, liberty of this kingdom, and so shall be esteemed, allowed, adjudged, deemed, and taken to be. You've got three verb tenses. You've got shall be esteemed. You've got future tense and past tense and present tense. Allowed, adjudged, deemed, and then here's for all times to come, taken to be. It's all about the verb tenses. And that all and every particular aforesaid shall be firmly and strictly held and observed. And they were expressed in this declaration, and they will give you the declaration. The minute you get the declaration, that has confirmed. The declaration is going to confirm that unusual punishments will not be inflicted, and it's going to confirm that any invasion of your particular person without any conviction, they took your temperature, they took your blood pressure, they took your pulse, and there was nothing wrong with you. And there's no conviction right there. There's your no conviction. And so it is illegal for them to invade your bodily entity of pure godliness. They're not allowed to enter, because what does God say? God says that your body is your temple. So when your body is your temple, they're not allowed to invade your temple. And that is true. That's in the Bible. That Lord Spiritual will tell you, where is your temple? Your temple isn't in a church. Your temple isn't, you see churches, you've got them in houses, they've got church groups in houses, you've got church groups in backyards, you can have a church group anywhere you like. They like to give comfort. They give the comfort of a building because that's what we like to have, and that makes us feel happy and comfortable, doesn't it? But the truth is, where is the church? The church is in you, because you are the temple. You. And they're not allowed to invade your temple, just like they're not allowed to invade the marae. They're not allowed to invade the conventional churches. You are the temple. And so that also comes under your property, because they're not allowed to invade the temple of your property. So that's what they've violated. They've violated your temple with their forfeiture of your person. They forfeited your temple, and then they also gave you an unusual punishment when you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And so God's going to say in the prayer, you aren't allowed to do that. So when the judge will issue you, the judge isn't going to say if their subordinate laws are right or wrong. He's only going to say that this is your temple and this is right. That's all he's going to say. And then you take that and you attach that to theirs. You get birthed, you rebirth back into the earthly plane. So you leave heaven, you leave Almighty God, you go back to the earthly plane. But do you know what? Before you went to the heavenly realm, you were naked in the jungle. You are naked in the jungle now. Your temple is naked, and they've got thousands of laws that they're placing on you, and you are naked and you are helpless. This is what's wrong with you. So when you get in there and go to heaven and you say your prayer, and then your prayer will be answered. They have to answer your prayer. They must.
Yeah.
And then you will descend again, and you will be rebirthed from the court back onto the earthly plane. When you rebirth back onto the earthly plane, you're no longer naked in the jungle. See, God has dressed you. And so now that you've been dressed, and you're not naked anymore, you're going to be on an equal power with them. Only you're going to have the armor of God. You see, they don't have the armor of God. People don't understand. Well, I can't say people, but okay, I'll say I understand. I understand the armor of God. I know what the armor of God is.
Yeah.
They don't have the armor of God. They have just man-made laws. But when you come out with your armor of God, you're going to be very strong, and they will all kneel before your power.
Yeah.
They will kneel before your presence, because you are, I am, you are, we are, it is. Can't let that, you're so important. And they will kneel before God in that moment. Who is God? You are God, because you are the temple, because God loves every single one of you, from your smallest, tiny, littlest cell that's in your body. He loves every single cell, you see, and that's how important you are. And there's nobody on this earth that's like you. Nobody. And there never will be anybody like you. It's only you, and God knows how important. So God's going to give you the armor, and the police and the ministers and the parliament. They will kneel before you. Force the beast to kneel, and they will not get up again. They won't. You see? So, oh my gosh, I've gone off on a tangent, haven't I? Right.
You're allowed.
So when we come back with our declaration, and we have to come back into the man-made laws or society, we're fitting back into society. We've got our declaration that gives us our power, and we've recognised that. That's why we've gone and elevated ourselves to the heavenly realm. but we've still got to live in the man-made laws. And so what do we do with our declaration? Like when we go into a shop and someone is like, I don't recognize, you need to have a mask, you need a card, you know, because you've got the majority of people living on this earthly realm that just are so brainwashed.
Can I speak? I
Yeah.
see it that and I really do. That's why I'm dying. I can't wait for our court case. I see it as once we start this, because we're the pioneers. Once we
Put
start
your microphone
this,
off there.
once we
This
start
one.
this, we're the pioneers of this. So when we have these things and we have discussions and we put it out in the public,
Yes.
what we've done, and we need to hit the media, it's gonna, you know, we're gonna get hit.
We're going to get momentum, you mean? So it's going to
Yeah.
get that critical mass of traction.
Yeah. So we're going to get hit by being questioned. People are going to hate us because we're taking away their security and expect that. But once enough goes around that people are seeing, then that they've got something that, hey, they've got that. I want that because it's working. They're not being made to have an injection. They're not being made to do this. I reckon people are going to because everyone wants to be free of this shit, but everyone's too scared because there's nothing's working. So it's going to get really uncomfortable, but I reckon it's going to get, without this, someone's got to do it, and it's
But
going
we're
to be
strong.
us.
We're
No.
strong.
Can I add as well that as an applicant, doing it for ourselves, if each family can then do it for their families, and I think this is where it'll take off too, because they can protect their families. They put them as an applicant on this. You're taking it to the heavenly realm. You get your declaration for your family, and your family are protected as well. So,
And that's why Max and I are going to, Max, I and Kate are going to get our declaration for subject status. We've included our families and whoever
Yes.
comes forward.
Yeah.
We want to do one, me and Max and Sharon. We're going to do one first, and
Yeah.
once we know, because we might make some mistakes.
Yeah.
And so we want to go and experience the mistakes first, and then after we've experienced those mistakes, we're going to know, because the judge will tell us what we've done wrong, and we'll be able to come back and fix it, and we can send other people, and they won't have to make the mistakes that we're definitely going to make. There are going to be many mistakes, but I just wanted to talk on behalf of to talk to the point to Diane, because I still don't think you're quite getting, no offense to what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
When you get the declaration, you're not going to be able to use, I mean, people, you can go and show it to them, they're not going, this declaration is not really for the earthly plane. The declaration is for the ministers and the police. And if you go bowling up to the police and you say, I've got this declaration, it's not going to really help you.
Yeah.
What you've got to do is, when you get usually the minute you get this declaration, for a start, it's the court itself, by the order of the Governor General and the order of the Majesty the Queen and the order of the Lord Spiritual, they will automatically send a letter to our Parliament, and they will order them to stand down on those laws. And you're thinking to yourself, wow, what's going to happen is, since nobody's claimed on this, and if they don't go and change those support, they can change those. See, you think those laws are set in stone, or it's got, they can change those laws in 5 minutes. They can take a law and they can sit there in one day and they can say,
write
you know
another
what?
one.
We don't like this law. Let's just tear it up and write another one. So you see, but because nobody's claimed their heavenly right for such a long time, they've been able to get away with this decade after decade, because they have deliberately not told you how much power that you have. They've deliberately done that, by the way. And once they get the first letter from the Lord Spiritual, Lord's Temporal,
Yeah.
and their Governor General to stand down, they're going to have to go and change all those laws immediately, because here's the kicker. Who's the one responsible for this 1688? It's the Lord Spiritual and the Majesty. I'll just say this in this video here. When society, when there's a child in a home care place and that child gets molested, and then that child grows up and that child goes and prosecutes the home care centre and they get their money, they go to the accident compensation, they get compensation for that thing that was done to them, right?
Yeah,
But
the taxpayers.
who's paying for it? You're paying for it. And this is the sad thing, because that person that went and got that money doesn't actually realise that they're actually paying that money to themselves. Now, we all pay, see, this is sneaky, we all pay ACC from our jobs, and we pay that every month, yes. And so if you do go to make a claim at ACC, you're actually only claiming back your own money that you fucking paid them in the first place. So you didn't get any money from the one that molested the person or did that to the person. They didn't actually get any compensation for anyone. All they got to do was go and take some of their money back that they paid in the first place. Now, you see, if they had gone to the court and used that cruel and unusual punishment, the person that would have had to pay and who would have been liable would have been the person from the church themselves. You could have gone to get the money actually from the church, not from your taxes. Yes, because it comes from a different place. And you're not, if you go and look at this Bill of Rights, the one that is responsible is the Lord's Spiritual and the Lord's Temporal. And they will not see all these laws that they've got here, none of them are ascended. And as soon as they know that you've put this into the court, and as soon as they know that it's an indubitable right, and God said that this is your right under the jungle law, which we love the jungle law, by the way, under George Bush, under the jungle law, you've got that right. If they don't immediately stand out, so they do get a period of time to remedy the situation and provide you with the remedy. If they immediately go and change all those laws, they're going to change every single law. But if they leave, if they're going to have to go through everything. If they leave even one law, you can attach your declaration to that. You can take them back to court with that, and you are entitled to compensation at that time because you've served them. Currently, you're not entitled to any compensation. And here's the reason why, because you haven't served them from the heavenly court.
Okay, yeah, I get
You're
that.
not going to get compensation. And the law that they had, I'm sorry, people are going to call me a liar, and I would like to be proven wrong. If you want to prove me wrong, by all means, go and do it. I will eat humble pie. But the laws that they have now have already been written, and you are already under those laws.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to be entitled to any compensation for what they've done to you. They couldn't pay it anyway. But what you can do is get into that heavenly court, get your declaration, and from that moment on, they won't be able to do that. And if they do, it's at that time that you will be able to go and do a compensation case.
I think you asked Diane for the viewers, because I think that's what a lot of people would be thinking. Okay, I've got this declaration, what do I do with it? I think that's where you were coming from, Diane. It's good to explain that, Kate, because
it helps us understand, because we've never been in this situation.
Otherwise, they'll look at it and go, well, it doesn't do anything for me. But we need all those cases in the court to be able to knock these guys out.
Well, we've got our armour then, haven't we? Once we've come in with our declaration, that is our armour. So if they do anything against us and try and start this freaking nonsense with us, we've got that. It's our
You don't hold it up to the the shopkeeper, because the
No.
shopkeeper is only doing what they've ordered to. See, the
Yeah.
Parliament has done a really sneaky thing. Here's what they've done. They said, we're not going to force you to have an injection, but we're going to leave it up to
Yeah.
your employers. You see, they
Yeah,
passed
exactly.
the buck here.
Yeah, they have.
That's dirty. That's
Yeah, they did.
dirty. They passed the buck, didn't they?
Everything
And-
was coercion.
And you can't give a declaration to your employer because, well, I
No.
suppose you can, I'm not sure, but it's for, Parliament ordered them, said to them, if you want to, it's your free will. And then they
Yes.
said to you, if you want to keep your job, it's your free will. But
And now they're
Yeah.
saying that with ACC, they don't want to pay out for any vaccine injuries because that was their choice.
Yeah, yeah.
They took it on their own free will. You had
Yeah,
informed consent.
and if
So
you go to
they've
the
cut that
Greens-
avenue off as well
now,
for anyone.
if you,
If that was me though, Diane, and I went into a shop and they said, no, they don't recognize it. The best thing would be just to walk away. It is until we can get a lot of people on board with it, with these
Yeah.
declarations, and you get enough of them, I think you'll find a turnover. And I certainly agree. If you're going to go to court with many people. That's why Max and I have chosen, and Kate have chosen to put our family into our subject
Yeah,
status.
absolutely.
Kate, I'm a little confused here because we're trying to get a lot of these cases, okay, so this, say for this particular or bodily autonomy, but doesn't it only need the one for them to get them down? Because they have, if they're going to give me a declaration, say it's all okay, they give me the declaration, on just that one case, they have to change the laws
yeah,
because it's
so,
gone into the higher realm.
yeah, yeah,
It
so
doesn't
then
need
you're
to be
confusing me again. Okay, I'll just help you here. The declaration, you only need one declaration and you only need one person to go and get it. If you've got a lot of people, it's going to be better for you, but you do only need actually one declaration, okay?
Because they've got to change the laws according to that declaration that they've
They
given.
certainly do. They certainly do. But you do have to be a little bit careful because they also say that you are infringing on the right of the other person. But I think you can prove, see, they said the handicapped people don't need to have a mask, but people who are not handicapped need to have a mask because they endanger them. You know, these are all called their names. I think we'd leave the judge to sort it out, but there's two types of declarations that you're going to get. There's one declaration where the Parliament has gone rogue and they're making all these laws that you can get, that's going to force them to stand down and consider individual right of each and every one of you. And that's going to force that. But the other declaration that Maxine and Sharon and I are looking at doing, because I have one that I've told you.
Yep.
So I have my family went and did it twice. I did talk about it in my last video. I won't put it up. And Chief Nene too. So I can't find Chief Nene. Oh well. So Chief Nene went and did it. Chief Nene went and did it. And we had a good joke there, didn't we, Sharon? And my family went and did it in 1844. And then my family went and did it in 1858. Now, it's got our names on it. It only just means, it doesn't really, it just is a personal thing. And I think for that, it's more personal that you have it in your family because you don't know what the future is going to be. Now, we've also got the 1865, which covers our whole country. So you do actually have that, but since they've been so lax in using it and starting to take it out, it's quite a good thing for you to get a family one or a tribal one, but that hopefully would be a catalyst where they make it whole nation. It always has been whole nation. It's always been there, and you've always had this right, but they've forgot. Nobody's claiming, so they've forgotten. You don't actually need a family one, but me and Maxine and Sharon, we've decided to get one because the situation in the world has become extremely precarious. And with the United Nations, they want us to follow the Noahide laws. The Catholics want us to follow their laws. The Zionists want us to follow their laws. The Islamists want us to follow their laws. Everybody wants us to follow their laws. We've got the Maoris want us to follow their laws. The Aboriginals want us to follow their laws. There's just too many. And so I think that it's handy in this situation that we have in the world at the moment to have a family one, to put it in your family treasures. It's not a kind of thing that you're going to get money, but you'll get a protection of armor where you're not naked in the jungle. People thinking all these people are thinking money. How am I going to get money? Money is nothing. Don't you know that money is just, it's not what's
A material.
important, yeah, to you. Having money is great. I've got a bit of money. I've got not a lot, but I've got more than most. Having money is a great thing, but it's not the be all and end all of your existence. You've got people putting steel objects and up your nose, up your ass, and all of these things.
What's money then?
Money ain't going to buy you out of it, and it's been shown that money's not going to help you out of this. It is.
Can I just say to Jody, the way I see it is, the declarations under regard to the COVID is a chunk. We're putting together the whole armor piece by piece, and that taking that case for a declaration about it is one domino that may set a few dominoes off, and then we go again. There's not going to be, even in probably the next decade, a full fix where they're just all going to go away and we're going to go back to life as usual. I can't see that. I just see that we're doing these little dominoes, and once we can, as it builds, it's going to drop them, and it's going to ripple. It's a ripple effect. So
Yes.
being able to go out there and live in that and get attacked, because we're going to, because the fear is so huge. We're just going to have to live with it. But these declarations and what we're doing, for now, what we're doing is the only thing that's keeping my mind going,
keeping
basically.
And hope.
Yeah, hope. Yeah.
And giving us hope. That's the thing. Now, I did want to show you something important here, that we can go to share screen, and I want to show you the national anthem, and I want to show you why they removed it from you. Now, you can see what she says. Where's Her Majesty? You see Her Majesty there. Can see what she says. Now, look here, what you've got here. It says the national anthem for the UK and Commonwealth national anthem. So this is for all of our countries. And here are the verses. Now, it's important that you see that we pay homage to the Queen. God save our gracious Queen, and for her to live long and noble. Send her, see what it says here. Send her victorious, happy and glorious. Now,
We used to sing that one, didn't we? And then they changed it.
Yeah, I remember it. So the glorious is talking about your heavenly particular person, right? So that's why it's saying, let her be victorious over protecting those for you. Long to reign over us. God save our Queen. Now, the Queen is not reigning over you. She isn't. It says, let her be victorious to protect your happiness and your glorious right. So that's what that's about. Everybody's saying it's about the Queen. It's not. She is the instrument under Almighty God to save us. Oh Lord, our God, arise. So we ascend God to the heavenly place where we're going to get our prayer. Scatter our enemies and make them fall. You see? Confound their politics, frustrate their knavish tricks. On thee our hopes we fix. God save us all. Now, this is the knavish tricks, where they're telling you that we're not going to order you to have this injection, but we're going to let your employers do it because we're going to pass the buck. We don't want to get in trouble. We're going to pass the buck over there. We're going to let them do it, and you can't prosecute them, you see. And you don't have as much power in the heavenly realm when you not, so you want to go against Parliament. So that's called a knavish trick, you see. Not in this land alone, but be God's mercies known from shore to shore. This is our countries of the UK, Australia, and New Zealand bound together from shore to shore. Lord, and that's why they've separated our countries. They're trying to separate us because they don't want us to be shore to shore because we've got too much power. Lord, make the nations see that men should brothers be and form one family the wide world over. And this is our family now. People can come and be in our family if they want to. Anyone can be in our family as long as that they remember that in our family, we're using the victorious and happy and glorious godly laws under Almighty God, you see. So that's how they can be in our family. If they don't want to follow that, then they're not in our family. They can go and be in the other family. There are many families. As you know, there isn't one family. There are many families. Next one. From every latent foe, from the assassin's blow, they're assassinating you. God save the Queen. So they're assassinating you. That's assassinating the Queen. When they assassinate the 1688 Bill of Rights, when they don't put it up front there for you to know about, and they put this 1990, that's an assassination of the Queen. It is.
Yeah.
So there's many ways to assassinate the Queen and remove your arms. It doesn't have to be in the way that you're thinking. Over her thine arm extend, for Britain's sake defend, our mother, our prince and friend. God save our friend. Now this is, if you go to your 1688, what we've got here is the supremacy law. And what it says in the supremacy laws, I do declare that no foreign prince, nor person, nor prelate, nor state, nor potentate ought to have any jurisdiction over you. This means that the United Nations is not allowed to come in and lord themselves over, but there is one who can. It's only one, and it says it right here, because it says she's our mother, she's our prince or princess, and she's also our friend. And so under her anthem, that it says that she's, as long as she's, her reign is rested on here, as long as she's upholding the above there, that she is one of the persons that is not considered to be foreign. She's a person that can come in and save you in any of our shores. So that is important. Thy choice, eh?
As her army doesn't have to have, they can come in without.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can. If you call them, you call them up.
And they don't have to be invited.
Yeah.
Go to the heavenly realm. The only way to call in the courts, the Queen's army, is to go to the heavenly realm, and they will come. I promise you, they will come if you call them, because that's how important you are. All right. And then thy choices, gifts and store, on her be pleased to pour. It's saying we have to take care of Her Majesty. We should make sure that she's got enough money and enough power and enough land to be able to do the thing that she needs to do, which is to protect all of us. You need money, you need land, you need armor, and we have to give her those powers. So we allow her to have some of that, and we should not be greedy and selfish, saying, you know, give it back to us, because her job is a mighty job. You can't be expecting her to be running all our countries on a freaking toothpick. She needs power, and she needs land, and she needs armies, and she needs palaces and she needs protections. She needs securities, everything that she needs. We should be protecting her, and she's not allowed to speak. One of the gifts that we can give her, you don't need to have money. What is a gift that you can give to the Majesty when you realize the almighty job, that the job that's sitting on her shoulders is so incredibly difficult? One of the gifts that we can give her, she's not allowed to speak, but one of the things that we can give her is that we can speak for her, and we can
Yeah.
defend her. We can defend her when people are opening their nasty mouths saying, oh, she's a lizard and she's a forked tongue and she's all of these things, and Her Majesty's not allowed to speak and defend herself. You know, what is the greatest gift that you can do for her, for all that she does for us? You can defend her. And that's what I intend to do. I intend to defend Our Majesty the Queen, that has sat there for 96 years for us, so that we could speak, so that we would have a heavenly realm to go to when our parliaments go rogue and do the evil things that they're doing to us. And she is there for us to call in the Queen's army, and we have not defended her. And you know what? That's why we don't have, you know, we're all being punished here because we have not
There you go. Yeah,
upheld our end of the bargain.
you're
We
right.
haven't. None of us. We're all guilty. All of us are guilty.
Well, that,
And
I think
that's
I think
thing.
a lot of the a lot of people see, and that's what they need to get past. Like they see a God. A lot of people are anti-religion. So
Yes.
they see a God, they see God's laws, they see a queen in England who belongs to a family that has a lot of money. But above that, as far as being the instrument, the God, you could have any, you know, it could be any name of the all those two things represent is a power, and she's the instrument to that he's using the power, or given the power, so that we can go and get it. And I think that's half the reason people will stand back, because they don't want to see, you know, they hear God, they hear the Queen of England, that's where the block is.
Yeah,
But I don't care who it is. If if that person's got the power to fucking save me from being taken over, I'm using it.
I'm taking it. Yeah.
Call the
And the
Queen.
other thing too, Kate, is when we on one of our other one of my chats, we were talking about that anthem, and Kate's right. The Queen isn't allowed to speak, but did you see her message come through that anthem? Her message is right there. It's always been there. It's been there for years. And you're right. We used to sing that at school at assembly.
we did. Yes.
Because it has that message. And she's had that message for years, and nobody took any notice of it.
Schools, haven't they?
So it's the indoctrination, isn't it? As you say, I mean, we have not been taught the 1688 Bill of Rights. All has been removed from the school system. I mean, this is where it comes back to our future generations. You know, we've got to be, you know, I mean, the stuff that they're installing in school now, sex education at 6 and all this nonsense, and genderless society, and homosexuality is okay. And, you know, our kids are going to be confused. So we need to be teaching them things like this, their power, you know, the 1688. It should be in every person should learn this.
But we've been confused too. Like
Yeah.
we've been confused, like, so we've had a chunk that's like, you got that taken away. You've got this
Absolutely.
division between England and like the Queen, and division between our people, Māori, and the Queen and the colonizers. And
Yes.
it's just more, so if we do this now, they've got less to dig through. If, you know, they've got less to dig through. I mean, how long have we been
Yeah,
spending
yeah.
trying to dig through this? And that's it. It's just continuous. So we do our bit, and then they may have to carry on doing their bit.
Because saying, Maxine, you know, you look at people like John, and they've been working on this stuff for years and years and years, and they've had treaty claims and all that, whereas most of us, and I'll be honest, you know, whites, we've just sat back and gone, oh yeah, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? We haven't really paid any attention until it's come knocking on our door, which is, hey, we want you to get vaccinated and you're going to lose your job, and and then it makes us sort of go, hey, hang on a minute, this is not right. But meanwhile, when you start looking at stuff, you can see how it's I mean, it's deep. It's a big deep hole that everyone's in. I mean, like, I'm just looking at John and reading his comment, and it's just like, it's such a contradiction to what, he talks about King's jurisdiction in the UK. Well, what is that? Why is that so different than the Queen's jurisdiction, UK? I mean, my understanding as a lawyer would just say, well, that's English law, UK, British law. I'm not understanding what he says. So it's like he's been doing all this stuff, but I don't know. It makes me question it, to be honest.
It's all the rubble.
no,
There's a rubble
no.
over all of it.
No, well, no, in his defense, he is on the right track. He's been fighting very hard for many years, but he has not realized his full power. That's all. He knows, we have all known that we've got this power, but none of us have realized it. And
But he's wanting to
this
take
is
the
why-
pure title, isn't he? He's wanting the pure title.
Well, let's just wait. We'll do that, and we'll have to do that in a class with him, and we will discuss it with him and ask him. I think that'll be probably better if we do it with him. But a lot of people, we've not been responsible, but a lot of people, we haven't known. This is why you need to have an object. In fact, as the common law will tell you, you don't need to have our objects, but our brains can't comprehend it. When they took away all the objects, this is what they've tried to do. They took away the national anthem. They took away the Queen's anthem. They took away the Queen's picture. They've taken away the flag. They've taken all these things away from us, and they've left you in the jungle and said, you'll be fine under common law. Our brains can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
We need visual things because we're alive. We're not in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, you don't need any of those things. You just know how important you are, and all those things will be as on earth as it is in heaven. All things will be on earth as it is in heaven. So you don't need that. But on earth, since we are in the physical body, then we need physical objects to comprehend this power that we have. All right.
Yeah.
So then the Queen
just saying-
says,
We're just saying, like with what John's saying, he's saying that that the Queen has invented her Maori people's iwi tribe and her deception over the native people and stolen it with her memoirs and paper title certificate. So again, it's like he's still against the whites that have come in. We've settled here. They want it back in that pure native title, back to 1835 under the Declaration. And this is all fraudulent as far as he's concerned.
Can I answer to that?
Yeah.
Again, like I say, and I don't know what they want. I got an idea of what they want, but it's one lens of so many lenses, and because we're all wearing these different lenses because of how we were raised, what we were indoctrinated into in our families and our traditions. So his lens has taken him down that road. And
Yes.
I don't think that's been a choice. I think it because of all the traditions and stuff. They've gone down that road, and each of us to go, and we're all looking at it from different lenses because of this whole flipping what's happened in the world and who's buying it. So if you raise above all that and are aware that there's all these lenses and these people, I mean, it may come down to land, but the reason that all that land and the Queen did this, Queen did that wrong, all those conversations has come from the fact that we have been deceived above all that, and then all these lenses have gone on to each individual, and that's how they see it. If we can take the lens off, which I think what Kate is doing, is trying to clear those lenses to look at the pure state of what we have and where we got it from. If we can clear those lenses, which takes the emotion down, which allows your brain to comprehend the bigger picture. And that's, I mean, I don't agree with what they do. I'm not fully sure, but I can see why they're going where they are, only because I try so hard to stay above all that and clear the lens, and that's where the emotion comes from. And when you've got emotion in there about that, your brain is frazzled. You can't take it in, and it has to clear the emotion. This whole journey since December, I've gone through some massive emotions, but I've had to do stuff to clear it.
Yeah.
So that my brain can comprehend where we're going, why we're going, and how every part of
I
my
know,
life and
but
my traditions have given me these lenses.
yeah, but see, the way I see it, I mean, my family was one of the first integrated white Maori marriages, you know, that so again, we are all mixed blood, wherever we've come from.
Exactly. Yeah,
But
dead right.
but he also says in his little thing that
No, I'm just going to stop it. I'm just going to stop
Yeah.
it because I'm just going to say that he's not here, and he can't defend himself, and
Yeah.
I'm very uncomfortable. I wanted to use this video and I wanted to post it. I want to post it up, and he's not here and he can't defend himself, and I don't want to go down this road when he's not here. We need to have them in a meeting and we can say this to them and they can say their stuff to us and we can say this, and I really don't want to go down this, but I will say this about him, and this is the truth, because you know they've been in this for 30 years and I just turned up 2 years ago, and I don't agree with some of what they say, but a lot of what they say and a lot of what people are doing now has come from all of the work that they've been doing over these years, and they haven't got it always right, but they have worked extremely hard. He's worked his entire life, and I disagree with the flag. I did disagree with the flag, but I'll say it to you like this: when a house is being built, right? When the house is being built, many people will come in. You've got the engineers going to come in, then you've got the foundation people are going to come in, then you've got the people are going to put up the walls, then you've got the people that are going to do the windows, then you've got the people that are going to do the electrics, and when all of that's done, then someone's going to come in at the end and they're going to start checking all of that work. They're going to say there's a problem here and we need to fix it, there's a problem here that we need to fix it, and then they're going to paint the house. When the house is all painted and the garden's done, that's when you get to move in. You see, you can think of them as the builders, and they've been building this for 30 years, but their ancestors before them and our ancestors too. Now, our ancestors, we will be talking, our ancestors, Diane, have built this from Australia. It's all built all the way back to Germany, the Germanic tribes,
Dead right.
and Martin Luther over there. All our ancestors have been building this house, and we're just coming in
Yes.
with the paint. And so so that's all I'm going to say about that. But I don't want to talk about them anymore because they're not here.
But
We'll wait for them to be here, and we'll have a big session with them, and we can all say what upsets us. And there's a lot of things we want to say, because I'm upset about a lot of things, and so are you, and so is everybody. So we're going to say that, but this is not really the time. And now we.
all I wanted to say was, you know, I'd like for us to extend our hand out to them, even though we did it in their video, to extend our hand out and say, why do we not take this flag, take our flag, take your flag to the same cause?
It's done. I'm not talking about them. It's done. So
Fair enough.
Just about trying to work out a case how we can get it into court.
Connect them.
Here. I don't know if you can almost delete this end part because it's, it's a completely different topic to what we were trying to achieve.
yeah.
Come on then, move on.